Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Compassion and Courage, Conversations in Healthcare. I am your host, Marcus Engel, and today, instead of talking about teaching compassionate communication, providing perspective, and inspiring resilience, I want to talk with you about having fun. So it's not too hard to remember having fun, right? We can all remember being children and being absolutely joyful and exuberant. But somehow over time, we start to lose that. And I know that like when I was a little kid, I would play literally for hours and hours and hours in the backyard until my parents told me I had to come in. Growing up on a farm, I had plenty of land to explore, being a little boy out in the woods and on the fields. Those were some times of great joy and happiness for me. But then as we get a little older, we have to start to adult, right? And that term adulting has kind of taken on some fame, I guess, over the last several years. And we talk about adulting as when we have things that we don't necessarily want to do, but they're things that are necessary to keep our life going, such as paying mortgages, taking the trash out, doing household chores, picking up the kids from school, picking up the dry cleaning. This is adulting at its finest. Things that are a little tougher that we don't necessarily want to do, but we have to do them. That's what you do when you're an adult. And I can remember being that kid walking around on the farms and walking around the fields and knowing that I was a kid. And I knew I was a kid, but I didn't exactly know what an adult was. I remember being a very small child and thinking that when somebody reached 10 years old, they were a grown-up. They were a grown-up at 10. That shows how young I was. Obviously, you're not a grown-up at 10, and you're not a grown-up at 13, and then at 16, and then at 18. Maybe at 18, when you're a legal adult, we start to think of ourselves as starting to do more adulting. But I don't know, if you're anything like me, you may have really not started adulting in full until you were about 30. So how then do we go from those kids having fun, being exuberant, being joyful, playing? How do we go from that to being that person who just wants to sit on the couch, flip through their phone, and is tired all the time, right? Some people may say, well, that's when you're getting old. And I listened to an interview several years ago, and they had done a study and asked people, when is someone officially old? When does old age officially start? When are you officially old? Now, these are people's opinions. They don't really matter. But what they discovered is that it's not 40. It's not 50 when you get your AARP card. It's not 65 whenever you can start drawing Social Security or whatever those legal things are. But what they found is that most people say that you're old when you're 60. Now, I disagree with that. To me, you're old not at a number, but you're old when you stop having fun. When you stop having fun, that's when you get old. A few months ago, I saw a friend of mine who's about my age, and she has several little kids, and she wrote a post that was called Get in the Pool. And she talked about how mothers that are her age often have such a hard time letting down their inhibitions and letting down their guard enough to get in the pool and play with their kids. And as somebody who is a quasi-adult, I understand that, right? Because the older I get, the less I want to be uncomfortable. And cold water makes me kind of uncomfortable. But after reading that post, get in the pool. Okay, I'm in the pool now. Because when you're a kid, it doesn't matter what the water temperature is. You're just so excited to be able to have that freedom to float and splash and swim. get in the pool. Why do people otherwise not get in the pool? Self-consciousness, right? How many, I don't know of a whole lot of women that just say, I love the way I look in a bathing suit, right? I don't know a bunch of guys that say, I love the way I look in a bathing suit. All of us have self-conscious. All of us have inhibitions. We don't want to show our bodies because we're overweight, or we don't have a tan, or maybe have one too many stretch marks in a strange place. But you know what? Kids don't care about that. Kids don't care when they're splashing around in the pool what your hang-ups are about your age or your body type or shape or color or any of those kind of things. Kids want to play. Kids want to play. And how often do kids who are in the pool want to play with their parents, but the parents won't get in the pool? Back to my friend's statement, get in the pool. So after reading this, a few weeks later, we were actually having a pool party here at our house, and I wanted to make sure that I was in the pool all afternoon. You know why? Because I don't want to be old. I don't want to be old. I want to get in there. I want to play with the kids. I want these kids to have the memories of their ancestors being with them, having fun, being lighthearted. And so I spent the afternoon in the pool with 3 grandsons who are all under 10 years old. They're over 5, they're under 10, and they all love water guns. Now, you all know, I'm blind. I can't see what's coming at my face. And I cannot see when there are 3 water guns that are consistently being shot at my face the entire time. And the whole time, it was uncomfortable. The water is cold. I don't like being splashed in my face necessarily. And yet I wouldn't get out of the pool. I kept playing with the boys. Why? Because it's fun. It's fun. Getting in the pool and having fun is not something I'm going to forget. It's not something I'm going to take for granted, because I know that these kids won't be small forever. So when it comes to having fun, what I want to do is to encourage you not to be that parent at the side of the pool. I want to encourage you to be the parent who gets in the pool, who puts aside your hang-ups, your insecurities, your inhibitions, all of those self-conscious things, puts that aside to have fun with the younger generation. I think whenever we can play with children in that kind of environment where they are having fun, it helps us have fun, right? How long had it been since I was in the pool with 3 kids just swamping me, shooting water guns at me? It was one of the best days of my 2021 year, and I want to keep that in mind for all the summers to come, that when we get in the pool, when we let down our guard so we can have fun, that's when we're truly living a joyful life. I want to thank you all so much for being with me for this episode of Compassion and Courage, Conversations in Healthcare. And if you like the podcast, please rate and review and subscribe and share. All those things. Thank you to so many people who have been doing those things, who have been subscribing and rating and reviewing and helping us get the word about the podcast out. Thank you all so much for being with me, and we'll see you next time on Compassion and Courage.